everyone. Welcome to the Loshak and the Bag Show for June 15th, 2021. Isn't this great? I'm Peter Loshak. He's Jimmy the Bag. Before we went live, Jim was like, well, how do you want to start this? What do you want to say? What do you want to do? I was like, let's just fucking make it crazy and play it by ear. That was kind of a bad idea. Anyway, again, you're watching the Loshak and the Bag Show. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is June 15th, 2021. We're going to break down MLB for you. We're going to break down the NBA playoff game. We're going to break down the NHL playoff game for you. Jim, you have something to promote here? Do you have to say huge shout out to Pub Sports Radio, right? What do you want to say?
Pub Sports Radio.
Matt
Tesaro in the house. We got Matty Ice, star of the Taint play of the day. That swept the entire week last week. Taint play of the day 4. And Nuke Worker coming to us live from Darlington Nuclear. We have Brandon Cummings. Brandon Cummings.
Well, we can't have this be a love fest. We do got to get to the picks, but a little birdie told me you're like 30-3 in your last 33 MLB plays or something like that. Jimmy the Bag, are you a fucking badass in MLB now?
I'm having a good season. It did go a little bit.
Shout out to OG Wham. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Shout out to OG.
I went 4-5 on Friday.
Okay.
The final game was the Ohtani. It was the Angels' first 5 under 4.5. It was 3-0 with 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Runners on first and second. Ohtani balked the runners to second and third. Then he balked again to score the 4th run. And then he struck out the next batter on a wild pitch. And he went to first. And I went 4-5. A sequence balk, wild pitch, loser for me. So 4-5. And then I lost on a Jays over on Saturday, so 4-6. So, but
that's how baseball goes. But Jimmy the Bag, I'm proud of you, man. And that's a joke, but also true, because what is life about? Getting rich, getting laid, eating like fancy dinners? No, it's about learning, and you are learning, my friend. Long-term learning. I'm proud of you, for real. But it's also a joke. So it's a joke and for real. It's a joke and for real.
Don't trust anything that's said here.
Yeah, all right. So before we get into it, like, I'm obviously taking this shit seriously, right? Like, the picks are for real, but also, and look at this. Do I look good? The fucking look is fucking killer, right? You got this shit. I'm wearing a jacket and tie, and then on the bottom we got
I thought I was going to pull it.
Right? We're fucking taking this shit seriously, Jimmy the Bag. Jacket, tie, beard, and pajamas, and baseball hat.
Thought we were going to see balls there for a second when you stood up.
No, you couldn't. No, I'm a professional here, Jimmy the Bag. All right, you want to get to the picks?
I do. Thank you all for joining us. It is so exciting to have Lotals Loshak, the legend, back in business. Nasty Nate in there says, Pete's my real dad.
Shout out to Nasty Nate. We can't have this be an hour of love fest because then there'll be no picks, right? Or maybe people don't want picks anymore now that it's legalized. Now that it's legalized, they don't want picks, right? It's classic.
Let's get right to work. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Chicago Cubs 38-28, 14-18 on the road at the New York Mets 33-25, 18-6 at home. We're at Citi Field in Queens, New York, 77 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour, sideways. We will go over and see what this market is offering us here. Money lines and totals, full game. And we have the Cubbies and Alec Mills. Alec Mills has only started once all year, back on April 13th. And he went 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 home run, 0 walks, 0 Ks. He wasn't bad. He's been terrible out of the bullpen this year. And he's probably playing for his job. Walker and the Mets, Taijuan Walker on the bump for the Mets, opening up at minus 152. There's been a 9-cent move over to the Chicago Cubs. And from a total standpoint, we have it opening at 8.5 at minus 103 to the over at Pinnacle, and a 2-cent move towards the over. Here we go, Lodo. Yeah. First game on the board, Cubs-Mets.
Well, I definitely haven't bet this one yet. But I'm definitely leaning strongly to the under. The Mets are putting up great pitching numbers, but it has a lot to do with defense as well. It's not just a matter of the pitchers. So no matter who's in there is likely to get a big boost from that. And obviously, Mills makes me a little bit nervous, but he's not going to go too deep. I think we probably will come back, and have a decent arm for a few innings. And if he gives up a couple runs, that's okay. I'm a believer in Taijuan Walker, even though he hasn't been good against the Cubs. Earlier this year he got hit, but whatever. Leaning under
from Pistol Pete Loshak. I've made 6 bets already on the MLB card. This is not one of them, but I can understand your lean. Neither the Cubs or Mets hit righties hard. Cubs 228, 714 OPS. Mets 238, 697 OPS. Both bullpens are playing well right now, especially the Cubs bullpen. Against Alec Mills, these Mets are hitting just 771 OPS on a 316 batting average. Small sample size, 19 at bats, 6 for 19 with 2 doubles. So 2 extra base hits, both being doubles. Against Taijuan Walker, 283 with a 764 OPS. So neither have had power against the opposition. But Pete,
go ahead. I do want to say that both of these teams are teams that I feel nervous fading right now. So I don't really want to bet on or against either of these. Seems like old times, Jimmy the Bag. Go ahead.
3,808 tickets. In right now on Sports Insights, we have 71% of the tickets on the Mets money line, 67% of the cash, and then on the total, we have 60% of the tickets on the over, 46% of the cash on the over. Pistol Pete, there will be no move from me. We got a shout out for you from Skeet Profit and
shit, Skeet. I was thinking about Skeet Profit the other day. I was like, damn. That's a fucking impressive dude there. That's not a dude who fucks up his opportunities and fucks up his life. Shout out to you, Ski Profit. Not just for being good, but for not fucking it up.
No, I hear you. No move for me on Game 1 Cubs Mets. Are you going to leave yours as a lean?
Yes, but a fairly strong lean, though, for sure. I'm a believer in the Mets defense. I'm a believer in Taijuan Walker, and Mills doesn't scare me that much.
Oh, I love it. It's so much fun. Rocky Manichetti, Jared Schrader, Sharpie. Sharpie in the house says if Cubs have a lead, take the Cubs minus the runs live. They're 7-8-9 back of the bullpen. Has allowed 1 run last 35 innings. Sharpie has his Dirty K prop of the day that hits at a very high rate. We'll be rolling it. There's Canadian Capper 72 says tuned in for the reunion, and I'm going to get no work done for a little while. Okay, we have a quick question from the audience from Sanka. Sanka, great to see you. And then we'll break into this Pirates-Nats game. It's to you, Loshak. Where have you been?
Where has anyone been? It's all a dream within a dream, Sanka. It's all a dream within a dream. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not totally sure, but I'm here now.
7:05 p.m. Eastern, Pittsburgh Pirates 23-42, 10-23.
Was that a good enough answer? Jimmy the Bag, Pittsburgh
Pirates.
Pirates.
Within a dream. Washington Nationals 28-35, 16-17 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. 77 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour in. We have Tyler Anderson going up against Patrick Corbin. Before I break down the market, a very interesting thing from Gas Station Sushi, a professional gambler who pays his raises his family off of his sports gambling, someone I look up to very much. He looks for opportunities to bet on the worst teams in the league, the 5 worst teams. He looks for opportunities as much as possible, believing he's got value. He also likes Tyler Anderson and thinks there's potential there. And Tyler Anderson coming off a nice start at home versus the Dodgers. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. Both solo shots, 2 walks, 2 Ks, and a 2-1 loss. Going up against Corbin, who has this huge contract and he's been terrible this year. This total opened up at 8. It is now at 8.5 at Pinnacle. And the money line has gone from, very quickly here, has gone from the Nats at minus 152 to the Nats at minus 168. So a 16-cent move towards the Washington Nationals. Pirates, Nationals, what do you think?
Yeah, this one I did take a shot with, but I don't want anyone to tail it. I would agree with Gas Station Sushi in general. Anderson very consistent, which for a game like this is kind of good. Corbin struggles. You never know what's going on behind the scenes with pitching, especially in 2021. So someone like Corbin could turn on a dime and suddenly, become close to lights out. As of right now, though, everything I've seen from him, all the, analytics and everything, I expect his mediocrity and his issues to continue. He's pretty consistent as well, but a bit worse than Anderson. I kind of like Pittsburgh first half, and probably to be safe, the bet I made was Pittsburgh plus a half. I forgot what I got, but I got Pittsburgh plus a half run. That's a little bit iffy though, but yeah, I'm a little bit more down on Corbin than Anderson, and should be a relatively lazy first start to the first half of the game, and so Pittsburgh plus a half run.
Very interesting look. Pirates first 5 plus a half from our Pistol Pete Loshak. Tyler Anderson, 3 and 6, 4.52 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 67 and 2/3, 61 Ks, 19 walks, 12 home runs against the opposition so far in his career, I should say. Tyler Anderson, they're hitting just 179 with a 664 OPS, 5 for 28, 2 extra base hits among those 5 hits, a double and a home run. Patrick Corbin, 6.21 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, has not looked good. Now, I cashed with him at plus 140 in his last start, first 5 against the Rays. And it was against McClanahan. And Corbin wasn't great. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 walks, 3 Ks, except the Nats hit lefties, 259, 754 OPS, and both bullpens are above average. I think your look makes sense.
I don't. It's not an official play. I'm just letting you know what I did, but definitely not an official recommended pick here.
Okay, not an official recommended play, but something that you moved on. So not an official pick. And will we be tracking all of your official picks here on the show?
Jim, I track fucking everything, and get slandered for it. You know, there's a fucking someone made a post on Reddit from like 5 years ago because I was tracking an NBA show that we were doing, and my record was horrible, and they were like, something seems shady here, and I'm like, you idiot! Tracking records is the opposite of shady, but point is, I track everything, Jimmy the Bag.
I love it. And I also talked to the guys about how you also track your leans. And is it true that the leans have a higher ROI than the official picks?
Well, that is, you mean historically, yes. For many years, that was the case with me. It wasn't so much my leans. It was that my second tier bets and my third tier bets were like way better than my top tier bets. But that's a different issue. But anyway.
We have 71% of the money line tickets on the Nationals and just 45% of the cash. That's on 2,572 tickets. That's very interesting. And then 40% of the tickets on the under and 48% of the cash. No move for me here in Pirates Nats. We move on to my first move of the day. New York Yankees, 33 and 32, 16 and 16 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays, 33 and 31, 13 and 13 at home. The series the Jays and Red Sox just played was absolutely riveting baseball. I was just soaked in every single minute of it, and I'm unsure what it's going to take out of each team. Pistol Pete, one thing that was from Gas Station Sushi, he talked about how he believes there's no momentum in baseball. I took that to heart, and I stopped about 8 weeks ago, talking about what had happened the day before, unless it was a travel situation. And since I started doing that, taking each game as an individual entity, my ROI has gone way, way up. So I'm not going to talk about that 4-game series other than it was riveting baseball, and I am a little concerned that it took some energy out of both teams. 64 Fahrenheit clear, 10 miles out to left center. I am on Hyun-Jin Ryu, and his first 5. The main thought process behind that, and we'll go over the numbers after we hear Loshak's thoughts on it, was his last 2 starts were against extremely difficult opposition for lefties, the Astros and the White Sox. And I think he's going to have a much easier time against the Yankees squad that hits 245 with a 712 OPS versus lefties. And the Jays get to Montgomery. They have a 302 average, 898 OPS, 53 at-bat sample size, 16 for 53 with 4 doubles and 3 homers. And it's Vladdy Guerrero, the best hitter in baseball right now, who's 3 for 5 with a home run off him. I believe that Vladdy continues that. That was my first move, and I didn't get a great number. And another thing that we're doing here, Lotals, is that I'm not line shopping for the best available number on the board. I'm only giving out the numbers that I get and that I bet. And that hurt my numbers and hurt my ROI, but at least it's just a legitimate, it's exactly what I'm getting. So this is exactly what I'm doing. And the Bet365 has not been giving out the first 5 run lines all the time. And they didn't offer one before showtime. So I had to take the Jays first 5 minus 130, which is dangerous when you look at it from a probability standpoint, but I took it.
There was no overnight line on this one, so I kind of passed. I kind of agree with you. I think it's a good spot for a bounce back for Ryu, but I didn't know what the line was, and I wanted to revisit it later, and I haven't had a chance to do that. But I think Aaron Judge is going to be back, right? at this line, my first thought is I agree with you, but I definitely didn't bet it, and I haven't thought about it yet.
So I'm not going full game. The Jays bullpen is an absolute train wreck, an absolute mess. And don't let that 3.72 ERA, 1.28 whip overall over the season fool you. They're an absolute mess. The Jays hit 258, 753 OPS versus lefties. I expect them to roll right now. By the way, we have the taint play of the day in.
Shit.
The taint play of the day in. We're gonna break it down in order, but let me just pop this up on the screen right now. The taint play of the day is in. And I'm already on it. Already on the taint play today. So when I correlate with action that the taint is on, we hit it a very, very high percentage. And there's Dennis Garcia, the Ascot, Royal Ascot's on as we speak. It is a 4-12 exacta, 4 to win over at Royal Ascot for Dennis Garcia, for those of you rolling over there. Okay, so we move on. No move from Loshak and Yankees, Jays. I moved on the Jays. First 5 at -130, and Matt DeCero says Bolsa Jim is on the taint. Bolsa Jim is on the taint. We moved.
I'm gonna write a song. I'm gonna write a song called Bolsa Jim. I'm gonna write a cumbia song. Just decided that now.
Oh man, that's gonna be music to my ears. I can't wait. I can't wait to wake up to that song every single morning. We move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Yes, and Canadian Capper, Turnsey, Big Mastro, all Windsor guys. I hope you guys all share beers in the future together. I love seeing you guys connect here. And Matty Ice says the taint was at under 5 last night at -125. You're right. It was at BetMGM at 5. It was at, I got the full game over at 9. That was the only thing that was available for me last night. That's moved down to 8.5, but I couldn't take advantage of the 5. But I did get the 4.5. Okay, we move on to Baltimore Orioles, Pete, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, 22-43, 11-22 on the road. A giant road losing streak, not as giant as the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. Cleveland Indians, 35-28, 17-13 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, 69 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 16-mile-per-hour winds in, and that could help Matt Harvey, who is 3-7, 7.41 ERA, 1.68 WHIP. We go quickly to the numbers here before we pass it on to Pistol Pete. And we have the Orioles opening up as plus 146 dogs. They're now plus 156 dogs. So a 10-cent move towards the Indians. And we move over to the total here in this spot. And we have it open at 9 plus 100 to the under. It is now at 9 minus 114 to the under. Pistol Pete, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of like the under here. I think that Harvey's not going to go deep even if he's pitching well. I think this might be one little, window or island of decency from him until he, continues to get crushed later on. I would be leaning under. I didn't bet it yet. Might be a decent. I don't do too much live betting, but live betting the under maybe after the 4th inning or something like that might be a decent play as well. Didn't bet it, but definitely leaning under, and even slightly leaning Baltimore, but I wouldn't bet that. Just a thought.
Last start, 3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, 1 walk, 2 walks, and a 14-1 loss at home to the Mets. Cal Quantrill has had a decent season, although he hasn't always been part of the rotation. His last start was awful. He went 1 1/3, 5 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 K in an 18-5 loss to these very Orioles. They brought him back 3 days later to pitch out of the bullpen, and he looked much better in a loss at the Cards. Neither team hits righties. Orioles are 217, 650 OPS. Indians versus righties, 230, 688 OPS. Orioles bullpen has been falling apart during this losing streak, this road losing streak, 4.59 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Indians bullpen has been good all season long, 3.23 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. We look at where the cash has gone here. We have 81% of the tickets with 3,190 counted, 81% of the tickets on the Indians, 98% of the cash on the Indians, and then 83% of the tickets on the over, 88% of the cash on the over, and the market moving towards the under. So we have reverse line movement there. I know the public's going to look at Matt Harvey and think, must take the over, must fade Harvey. And
Yeah, I mean, he's terrible, but, if he goes, 3 innings, even if he goes 3 innings, gives up 4 runs, you're still not screwed. Could easily see 2 or 3 semi-okay innings here from him, and then it's a wild card after that. So, yeah, leaning under for sure.
Lean under from Pistol Pete, and it seems like there are some sharps who will be doing the same today, but are probably waiting to see how high this goes. We have a question from John Garcia. Pistol Pete says, my dad wants to know if Pete is still giving birthday pics.
This sounds like a trap. It sounds like the answer to that is, of course, as long as there are birthdays, I'm going to be giving birthday pics. They have to be specifically requested, though. One of the few laws of birthday pics is that I'm not allowed to deny them. So obviously I'm giving birthday pics. Yeah, they make me as stressed out as they ever did, but yes, of course, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's move on. We move on to
no track. Okay, great.
Boston Red Sox at 40-27, 20-10 on the road at Atlanta Braves, 30-33, 17-17 at home. And my prodigal son coming off sweeping the week. That is my real son there, searching for titty. That will happen once in a while during the show, but he will find that titty very quickly. And it's part of the reason why I'm so proud of both of these guys. Here we go. We have Jose. Our man Jose sweeping the week to move to 8-7 on the show with an average line of plus 100. He's up 0.90 units with an ROI of plus 6.00%, and he swept the board last week. There were a lot of naysayers who are no longer saying nay.
Very nice.
Jose's Say Hey play of the day. Please welcome to the show our man Jose.
What a day. What a day. What an afternoon. What an evening. Pete, welcome to Pub Sports Radio.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's nice to meet you. Jimmy, hello, Dad. How are you? How was your vacation?
My vacation was excellent. It was very nice. I feel refreshed and ready to rock. And I was sitting in the sunshine, and I was thinking, man, Jose and Matt Randall sweep the week. I can't wait to see what they're up to on Tuesday. And this is a very interesting game with Eduardo Rodriguez going up against Tucker Davidson. Tucker Davidson 0-0, but he's been very good. And the Braves hit lefties harder than your Red Sox. Jose, how are you betting this?
I think, we should keep it simple, keep it plain. I think we should be looking at team totals here because, sidewise, I think it's pretty tough to say. Eduardo Rodriguez has had an awful month and a half. He's been the worst pitcher on the Red Sox, and no one would have thought that. It's very sad. It makes me sad. As also a Venezuelan, that hurts my feelings too. So I was looking at the over 9, but I didn't like the 125 off it. So I'm looking at team totals. I'm looking at the team totals. And I think I should just back my Red Sox here because I do not believe in Davidson. His spin rates were down in his last starts tremendously. We all know that the sticky substances are going away. He's in the 8th percentile of spin rate. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup guy. He has pitched well. Against divisional opponents, Mets, Braves, Phillies. But I just think, there's the tape's out on him. I don't think, this rookie can keep up his tremendous pace. So I'm taking my Red Sox today, team total over 4.5.
And what is the juice associated with that?
I've got it at minus 105 with my local I'm looking at right now. And, who doesn't love the local odds? But at Bovada, I've got it at minus 115 at Bovada.
Minus 115 at Bovada. Yeah, well, we're going to use established books
That's
here.
Fine.
Well,
yeah.
We track your record. I'll see if I can beat that on a couple different sites here. Very interesting spot here at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Pete, does any of this interest you in this game?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what he said. I did take a shot with the first 5 innings over at 5. I agree that obviously what we've seen from Davidson is a bit illusory. He had all the time with young starting pitchers in the majors. Classic example here. Rodriguez, I'm not convinced that this is a good spot where he's going to bounce back. I took the first 5 over 5.
I think a lot of that makes sense here, especially Braves hitting 243, 748 OPS versus lefties. Why don't we take a quick look at the baseball data here? We have the Braves hitting 171 with a 453 OPS, 7 for 41 against Eduardo Rodriguez, but he certainly seems like a different pitcher this year. And small sample size against Tucker Davidson, 3 for 9, 333, 1.167 OPS. Let's move over to this first 5 total and see what the market is. Here we go. Atlanta, first 5 total. What the hell is it? It's the intro.
Yeah, I got it here, and I will make this one an official pick, and I'm not going to track my plays like you. I'm just going to take whenever we're doing it. When I announce an official pick, I'm going to search the best line I can possibly find. Shit books absolutely count. So yes, I don't want to shout out the shit books, but I'm seeing right now one shit book has 5 plus 100. That's my official pick. First 5 innings over 5 plus 100. More respectable books have worse odds than that. But my official pick, I'm going to credit myself with the shit book odds of plus 100. First 5 over 5.
There you have it. We have Lotals on the board. We have Jose on the board. I love it. Tata Booker in the house. Great to see you, Tata. And Nasty Nate says, still got a job for you, Pete. Look, Pete's good to go, man.
Pete's thriving. Pete is thriving right now.
I'm doing okay in Brooklyn, though. Doing all right here.
Pete's living his best life right now.
Yeah, I walk down the streets of Williamsburg. Hello, Shaq! Hey, Loshak! All the Dominicans shout me out.
It's richly deserved.
Got some hipsters too. They go, Loshak, how you doing? It's a great life here, actually. All things.
Loshak, you're big in the Venezuelan community too. Don't worry, Pete.
People are like, can we just talk about baseball again? Yeah, all right, let's talk about baseball again. Go ahead.
All right, great stuff. Jose coming off sweeping the week. He's won 4 straight. He's now plus units on the show, and he's on the Red Sox team total over 4.5 at minus 115, available at Bovada. And our Lotals Loshak first 5 over 5 at plus 100. Thank you, Jose. Best of luck to you, my friend. Keep rolling. There you go. Jose, say hey, play of the day. We move on to a spot where I took a line that I didn't want to take, and I almost didn't do it, but I still did. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Cincinnati Reds 33-31, 17-15 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers, 38-28, 20-16 at home, where the American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I expect the roof to be closed. It's kind of a cool night in Milwaukee, and I took the Reds first 5. Both pitchers have just seen the opposition, and Castillo was looking quite good until the rain came in, and they had to cover up the field, and all of the momentum that Luis Castillo had was lost, and his counterpart did not return, but Luis Castillo did, and he didn't look quite as strong. He still went 5 2/3, 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks in what became a 7-2 loss at home to the Brew Crew. But I think that we are getting better than what his numbers indicate, and I expect him to improve as the season goes on. I took the Reds first 5 at minus 125, and Brett Anderson has been a thorn in my side in his career. And I never quite – my eye test says he's so hittable, and yet he can get me. And his last start, he did not. The Reds hit him hard, and now they're going to see him again. And their numbers versus Reds are improving to now 233, 727 OPS. I'm on the Reds first 5. I got minus 125. Pete, is there anything that interests you on this game?
Well, yeah, and I I did bet it. I'll make it an official play, but it's a little bit iffy. It's one of those prop bets. It's a score in the first inning. Yes, so I'll take -120, which is a line that I'm seeing right now. Castillo kind of struggles early in the starts, and Anderson, I agree with you. He seems kind of vulnerable to me. This could, I bet this prop so many times, and both pitchers are like 1, 2, 3 with a bunch of strikeouts, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But overall, I'm positive with it. So I'm taking first inning, runs scored, yes, at -120 on this one. Official play.
I like it, Pete. That makes tons of sense. By the way, so I bet this now about 2 hours ago. It's moved. My first 5 has moved 20 cents in the Reds direction. It's now at -145. At Bet.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It makes me, Castillo makes me a little, both pitchers make me a little bit nervous, actually.
Sure.
So go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. Sharpie says, Jimmy stats say Reds first 5 all day. I can't play it because they just faced off and I have to wait 2 weeks for my ROI to be profitable for me. I completely understand that. Sean Higgs says crap books are fine as long as they pay. Hako Schofield says so happy.
Sean
the legend
Higgs
is back.
Sean Higgs, shout out to Sean Higgs. You damn right. Do they pay? Fine. Yes, shout out to Sean Higgs. Hell yeah.
Jansen says we missed you, Pete.
Oh, thank you. Missed all of it.
And he says, is Pete wearing pants? If you missed the beginning of the show,
There you go, fucking pajamas. There you go. This is a fucking, you can't get much more dope than this for a sports betting show. You got this shit, this, jacket and tie and pajamas. You can't do better than that.
Ian Cameron says Reds team total over for me because I take the questionable Castillo out of the equation. That makes a ton of sense. And there is Red Girl. She says, hi, Pete. I missed you so much.
Shout out to Red Girl. What a human being. Huge shout out to Red Girl. Thanks for all the support. All the years going way back. All the nice things you said. All the picks. Fucking shout out to Red Girl.
Nate Dogg says, Pete, any low-hanging fruit today? We will not rush. We will not rush that. We'll wait to see it pop out.
There's definitely borderline. But, it seems like, we'll get into it. Go ahead.
Well, there we have it. So, Pete, second official play of the show. Score first inning at -120. I'm on the Reds. First 5 -125. That's already moved to -145 in 2 hours since I bet it. We move on to a double-up spot for me. Not only is it a double-up spot, but we move on to the taint play of the day. The taint play of the day is first 5 under 4.5 in Tigers Royals. Now, our man Matt Randall got this at 5 with more juice at BetMGM, but he gives it out as an official pick here where it can be bet by us, and that is at 4.5. He's coming off sweeping the day. He's not only that, Pete. He's coming. He had his son Briggsy was at Children's Hospital for major surgery, and we were all thinking about him and sending as much love as possible. And Matt went and was there for his family and there for Big Briggsy, and the surgery was a success. And Briggsy's back home, and he's doing great. And Matt came back to the show. Since he's come back to the show, he is 6-0. He's won 6 straight since he's come back to the show. And he's hitting overall, since we've gone back live, at 66% on taint plays of the day. Isn't that not unbelievable?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to be a fucking nerd asshole, I can say, well, what were the odds on all those plays? But I'm sure they were roughly -110 or 120 or something, right?
Yes, because even here, he got it at 5 at -125, but he's giving it out at 4.5 at -110, which is available right now. So
shout out to Matt Randall. He's always been doing that. This is long term for him, right? This is nothing new.
Nothing new. Here we go. Detroit Tigers, 27-39, 12-20 on the road at Kansas City Royals. And I did not know, Matt did not send that to me before the show. I did not know he was on that. I moved on the under 9 at -120 last night. That's moved to 8.5 as well. We're at Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. 89 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour in. Everybody who watches this show knows my love for Casey Mize. Casey Mize had 2 starts against big-time pitchers, Garrett Cole and Lance Lynn. Garrett Cole Lancelin, he stepped up in those games, and he pitched excellently. Then last start at home against the Mariners, it kind of felt like a bit of a letdown start. He still was a quality start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, but he wasn't as sharp as he's been. And Mike Minor has been so good lately. He got the season off to a bad start. In his last start, he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 1 walk, 8 Ks, and a 6-1 win at the A's, and they've been smashing lefties. I doubled up on the unders here, first 5 full game. Is there anything here that interests you?
No, I mean, my numbers, the low-hanging fruit plays could also just be could have been called no shit Sherlock plays or thank you Captain Obvious plays. I mean, it's the taint play of the day, the first 5 innings under. I did bet that one. I like it. Maybe even a little bit more. The KC first 5 team total under, which is 2.5 minus 135. I also think there's a little bit of value on Detroit first 5 as a dog. They're all related. I think they're all good plays, and I did bet all of them small. It's super obvious, but if that's what the market's offering, then it counts. So yeah, I would probably I won't quite call it low-hanging fruit, but it's borderline. No surprise, it's the taint play of the day, and I agree with all the analysis about this game.
And is this going to be an official pick for you on the show?
Let's see. KC first 5 innings team total under 2.5 minus 135. Definitely play it. Actually, I'll label that low hanging fruit. It could lose, but I'll label that low hanging fruit. KC first 5 team total under 2.5 minus 135. Benintendi's out also. That's a hit for them. Mize could give up 3. He could get injured. He could self-destruct. But if everything goes according to how things have gone and what the numbers sort of say, I think it's a very strong bet. KC, first 5, team total under 2.5 minus 135.
The Royals are hitting just 184 with a 5.10 OPS against Mize in their careers against them. 9 for 49, just 2 extra base hits. Those are doubles. So 7 singles, 2 doubles. Against Mike Minor, 264, 769 OPS. And these Tigers are improving versus left-handed pitching, but slowly. Still 218, 629 OPS, up from the high 400s that they were at. The Tigers.
I also think that Detroit first 5 innings plus a half run at minus 130 is extremely tempting, and I'll make that one an official play too. But that's not the low hanging fruit play. So I'll have 2 official plays on this one. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think that's really sharp. First 5.
Not quite sharp. It's kind of obvious, but again, if it's up there, you could make it a play.
First 5, what I mean? Yeah, first 5 plus a half. And what was the juice associated with that?
130, minus 130. So,
minus 130.
All right. If they lose, which they could, it's not good, but it happens,
Wow, I like that. I like that.
Team total under more, a lot more.
And this is another spot that we are all over. There's been a few of these games that our cappers in the chat are all over, and we are all over. This is another one because it is also part of the glorious David Sharp's Dirty K prop of the day. He's on Mike Minor over 6.5, and this is juiced. The 6.5 is at minus 154. The 7.5 is at plus 125. So you could use the the minus 1 calculator and turn that into a 7, which is probably, I think, the best move there is just to turn that into a 7. There you go. That's from our David Sharp, the Dirty K prop of the day. So we have 4 bets here. We have first 5 under 4. What were you going to say, Pete?
No, I was just saying that's nice. I tended not to do. I would just run out of time and bandwidth to do strikeout props, but that's good because even if Minor gets hit a bit, he'll still get his Ks. So yeah, that's good. Nice. Yeah. I like that one better than mine. Go ahead.
Bloods W says too much juice for me for a prop, but you can turn that into a minus 1. Quite easily. So we have the full game under 9 at minus 120, first 5 under 4.5, minus 110 for me. We have the first 5 under 4.5, minus 110 for the taint play of the day. We have the Minor prop, 6.5 or 7.5. Up to you how you want to bet it. That's the Dirty K prop. For Loshak, we have low hanging fruit, first 5 team total under 2.5 for the Royals. And he's also on the Tigers, first 5 plus a half at minus 130. There's Nut Flush Allen in the house.
Oh shit! Nut Flush Allen, huge shout out to Nut Flush Allen. My shout out to you is so huge. I don't even have to make it. That's how huge it is, and you know I don't have to make it, which is how you know it's so huge. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Nut Flush Allen. Hell yeah.
10 p.m. Eastern. Next up on the board, Tampa Bay Rays 43-24, 24-10 on the road at the Chicago White Sox 41-25, 25-12 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to take a look at that Tigers first 5+1/2. I find it quite appealing here. 69 Fahrenheit clear, 14 miles per hour, sideways, but out to right field, slightly out to right field. We have Shane McClanahan going up against Dallas Keuchel, two lefties on the bump. McClanahan 2-1, 4.54 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, 33 2/3, 42 Ks, 12 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, and 9.7 extra inning loss at home versus Nationals. Going up against Keuchel, who's 5-1, 4.14 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, 71 2/3, 41 Ks, 21 walks, 9 home runs. I don't know what to do with him. I expected him to get touched by the Jays last out. He did not. Quality start, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 home runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks, and a 5-2 win at home versus the Jays. The Rays just 222, 673 OPS versus lefties, and they strike out a ton. And the White Sox 273, 813 OPS versus lefties, but they aren't invincible like they once were. I'm just going to go to full game money lines and totals and then hand it over to Lotals Loshak. Here we go. We have for the full game, we have it opening up at -106, and it's now at -110. So a 4-cent move towards the White Sox. This total opened up at 8.5, and Pinnacle has moved it down to 8, as have a few other books. Take it away, Pete. Interesting spot here, Rays White Sox.
No bet on this one for me yet, but a very strong lean to the first 5 over, which you can get at 4 actually at some extremely respectable books like 4 -114, 125. Yeah, I mean both McClanahan and Keuchel look vulnerable here. Keuchel, for some reason, always, I just remember, the Rays are a tricky team because they're so smart. They used to be the only smart team, or one of the few. Now everyone's smart, but the Rays are still really smart, and they always used to do much better against Keuchel than I expected, and then I sort of picked up why. I was like, they've got some nerds in the fucking back room figuring out exactly what to do. He always struggles against Tampa Bay, always gets hit, and I don't really like McClanahan that much either, so I'm definitely leaning first 5 over 4, but the total's been moving down, so I'm not sure what to make of that, but that's definitely how I'm leaning.
First 5 over 4. The White Sox haven't seen McClanahan. The Rays hit 211, 663 OPS versus Keuchel, 8 for 38, only 4 batters have seen him. A couple guys we haven't seen in a long time. It's wonderful to see in the chat, and it's Pistol Pete that's brought him back. Bill Buttlicker. Bill Buttlicker in the house.
The number one guy I would have wanted back. Shout out to you, Bill Buttlicker.
Razor says Jimmy's wearing his blazer jacket tomorrow and combing his hair back. And Nutflush Allen says, Jimmy, he is listening. Vegas Gun smiling down.
Oh, shit, Vegas Gun. We'll have to maybe we'll do a special show for the Patreon about Vegas. No, not just kidding. We'll do a special Vegas Gun. We'll talk about it later. We have picks to get to. And that's what Vegas Gun would want us to do.
That is exactly what he would want us to do. Shout out to...
What a fucking great guy, though.
Spectacular guy. And Lily Gun, half of the Vegas Gun combo, whom we love.
Oh, fucking shout out to Lily, of course.
Tampa, Chicago White Sox, we have 68% of the tickets on the White Sox, 56% of the cash. We have 60% of the tickets on the under, but just 39% of the cash on the under. So
yeah, I'm liking the first 5 over, especially now that you can get 4 at -114. I'm an inch away from making that an official pick, but maybe I'll do that at the end of the show. But that was a strong lean.
That's very interesting.
Burn me with Keuchel, and I don't trust McClanahan.
No, I think that's a very interesting look that I didn't have on my radar, and it is now. Rocky Manichetti says, all is right in the world now. Jared Schrader says, this is like Christmas morning. I forgot how much I missed listening to Loshak in the Bag, breakdown games. We love you, Jared Schrader. We
Shout
move
out to all of you guys.
On to 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Texas Rangers at Houston Astros, 37-28, 28-13 at home, Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. I'm going to right now, so the roof situation is critical at Houston, and they've been closing it because it's gotten hot, but it's not that hot today. I'm just going to pop in this Astros MLB blog, and I am still not getting information on it, sadly. 89 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour out to left center. It's Kyle Gibson and Lance McCullers coming in off the IL. We haven't seen Lance McCullers in a while. He was out with a shoulder injury in his last start. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings, 4 walks, 7 Ks, 8-4 loss at these Rangers. Kyle Gibson, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 homers, solo shots, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a 4-3 extra inning win at home versus the Giants. He is pitching very, very good this year. The Astros are smashing everything. Lefties, righties. Right now they're 266, 777 OPS versus righties. That's higher than the Dodgers. And Rangers versus righties just 229, 684 OPS. Any feel here, Loshak, Rangers, Astros?
Yeah, I didn't bet it yet, but I definitely am leaning under. But for all the reasons that you just sort of stated, it makes me nervous. Both of these teams can hit, and I'm leaning under. And I'm leaning first inning, no score. I think McCullers will be good until he runs into another injury issue. Gibson's very solid and reliable. I didn't bet it yet, but I'm leaning first half under and first inning, no score. But no bet and not. I can't make that an official play.
The great CT Bays, another OG low bagger, says Texas full game under. He's looking at the under spot there. Joseph Gomez, Rangers team total under first 5. And David Summers says, just talk to a friend who lives in Houston and the roof will be closed. The roof's been closed quite often there. Thank you for rolling and figuring that out for us, David Summers. Robert Cherry says, Jimmy, what's up? Loshak is back. Let's cap. And Trotwam says it's Big Boss's birthday tomorrow, by the way.
No, tomorrow.
Big Boss tomorrow.
Thank God. Jesus Christ. Happy birthday to you, Big Boss, tomorrow. No birthday pick required. Thank God.
An interesting
Trotwam.
Interesting spot here against Kyle Gibson. They're just 242, 652 OPS, but they smash everything.
Yeah.
And against McCullers, they're hitting just 190 with a 503 OPS, but he's coming in off the IL. I guess there's enough question marks at this point, and I can see why you're not immediately.
No, but the Astros smashing everything, but Gibson's one of those starting pitchers who's like a big equalizer. You see these guys in baseball, they're like these like hulking kind of 6'4", 240-pound guys who just repeatedly get 6 innings and 2 runs against anyone. And I think that's what's going to happen here. And McCullers should be good for 3 or 4 innings. And I'm really liking the first 5 under, but I can't make an official play yet.
And this 4.5 first 5 was initially juiced to the over, and it's now juiced to the under. So money coming in on the under. There's Sue's 387 coming to us from Hawaii. Says aloha, Loshak. I got to drink some Hawaiian rum in my coffee now. Now, hell yeah.
Oh, very nice. Shout out to Sue's from Hawaii.
Bruce Shad also in the house, whom we love dearly. Okay, we move on to Marlins Cardinals. I did move on this spot. I took the first 5 over 4 in Marlins Cardinals, and I know Rogers is so good, but these Cardinals are smashing lefties, and I think that Kim is vulnerable. This 4 was initially juiced to under 4 at -114 at Pinnacle. It's now over 4 at -108. I got -110 when I betted at Bet365. Miami Marlins 29-37, 13-23 on the road. Cardinals 33-33, 17-15 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. 87 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour, sideways in. Rogers is so good. Look, I get it. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 8 Ks. At home versus the Rockies, and the Rockies smash lefties. He's got a 2.02 ERA, 1.06 WHIP on the season, 89 Ks and 75 2/3. He's only allowed 4 home runs in 75 2/3. Kwang Young Kim has not looked good lately. He last started at home versus the Reds. He went just 3 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, no walks, 1.35 WHIP. The Marlins 235, 677 OPS versus lefties. Cardinals 262, 793 OPS versus lefties. What do you think of my spot here? First 5 over 4, Marlins Cardinals.
You like first 5 over 4?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of that man. Rogers is good, man. Everything I've seen is makes me think he's legitimate. And Kim, he's coming off of the injury, and he's he got knocked around a bit before that, but he's a pretty solid guy, pretty reliable. That makes me nervous. First of all, in general, I don't like to bet against starting pitchers who are coming off of an injury, especially if it wasn't an arm injury. And he got knocked around. Look, he's all these pitchers get hit once in a while, but in general, I don't know. I'm leaning under.
leaning under. I
But you're
hear that.
33 in your last 33, so who cares what I say? That's just a joke.
No, it's important. It's important to hear these things, and all of the cappers who are watching the show are trying to get as much information as possible. So important to hear that.
Is it just based on you? Just like if it's just based on Kim, then you should take maybe the Miami team total.
No, the Cardinals are hitting lefties unbelievably well right now, and I think I can get 2 runs from the Cardinals on Rogers. If I can get 2 runs on the Cardinals, I think that the Marlins can get me 2 runs. So if we're starting there, I think I have a chance to get to this over 4.
I'm just thinking out loud here. I have no bet, no play, no nothing.
No, I hear you, and it's important. It's funny that Bookmaker still has the 4 juice to the under, while Pinnacle is now juiced to the over. When we go to where the tickets are for this spot, we have 45% of the money line tickets on the Cardinals, 54% of the cash, and 66% of the tickets on the over and 65% of the cash on the over. That's full game, not first 5. We don't look at first 5 stats because there's just not enough right now. Okay, let's keep rolling. Robert Cherry's action is in. He's on New York Yankees. First five under. I'm not sure if that's a total. I'm not sure what you're doing there, Robert Cherry, if that's a total of first 5 under a half. Washington, first 5 under a half. Houston, no score in the first inning, and Tampa Bay first 5 under 4. Okay, let's move on. We move on to Padres, Rockies, Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. 100 Fahrenheit. We've had cooler days in Colorado, and those are gone. 100 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour sideways. Darvish going up against Chichi Gonzalez. Chichi's had some nice starts this year. Last week wasn't one of them. 11 hits, 8 earned runs, 3 homers, 1 walk, 6 Ks, an 11-4 loss at Miami. That was a first 5 over that our Matt Randall was on. He was on the first 5 over, and I believe he caught it in the top of the second inning or the bottom of the first inning very, very early. Padres versus righties, 234, 700 OPS. Rockies versus righties, 228, 661 OPS. Padres bullpen best in the league, 2.57 ERA, 1.10 whip. Rockies bullpen the worst, 5.4, or second worst, the Reds, I guess, 5.45 ERA, 1.54 whip. Anything interest you here? This first 5 totals gone from 6 to 6.5.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning at this line, Colorado. Chichi Gonzalez is tricky. He's one of those guys who looks like, it's just like an auto fade when he goes 3 innings, gives up 8 runs, but then he sneaks in a lot of these 7-inning, no runs, 2 strikeout starts, and especially at home, and you're kind of like, well, where the hell did that come from? He's one of those guys who he's a spots guy. So when he misses his spots, he gives up 8 runs in 3 innings, and when he hits them, it's like, where did that 7-inning shutout start come from? And Darvish, obviously is awesome, but it's hot in Colorado. He's gotten hit a bit in Coors in his career. I'm definitely leaning Colorado. Haven't pulled the trigger yet. Probably won't, but if you gave me a free bet on this one, it would be on Colorado. Aside from the fact that if you get free plays, you should put them on underdogs if you can, but that's not even what I'm trying to say here. That's a little betting tip, a little math tip from Loshak here, but yeah, leaning Colorado for sure. 188
average, 653 OPS for Chichi Gonzalez. If you were to move on it, would it be like a first 5 plus a half, or how do you think you would do it?
Hell, I'm not that stupid, Jimmy the Bag. Jesus Christ, at first 5 on Gonzalez versus Darvish? No, I take Colorado full game plus, whatever, 208, whatever I could get. And it'd be nervous because you're betting on Chichi against Darvish. But at those odds, that's what I would do if I had a free play.
All righty. There you have it. I'm not on that game. We move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Angels, 33-33, 15-17 on the road at the Oakland A's, 41-27, 23-18 at home. Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. 69 Fahrenheit, 10 miles per hour out to right center. Andrew Heaney on the bump, 4-3, 4.37 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 57 2/3, 69 Ks, 19 walks, 9 home runs. We scored an easy casher on him 5 days ago. He went 6 2/3, 6 hits, allowed 1 run, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and an 8-1 win at home versus the Royals. Going up against Frankie Hartos Montas, whom I don't know what to do with. 4.37 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. In his last start, he went 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, and a 6-1 loss at home versus the Royals. He is tricky. I have not moved on this game. Is there anything that interests you here in Angels A's?
No, it's just a pass for me. I don't really want to bet against either of these teams, and both starters are pretty much how you described them. Montes is kind of like not great but consistent, and Heaney is basically fine. Pass for me.
I agree. It was a pass for me. Patrick People says I'm an A's fan, but you do not want to back the A's tonight. And Von Polo also on the Rockies, our man Von Polo, OG Lowbagger, whom we love dearly.
Well, that might change things, Jimmy the Bag, because one of my big rules going back from like 2010 or whenever it was, 2008, when I first started doing this, is one of the things I listen to very closely is when people who are fans of a certain team, give you one of those trust me opinions on their team, especially if it's don't bet on them tonight. But if it's bet on them, I listen to that very closely as well. So if someone's like, I'm a fan of the A's, don't bet on them tonight, that makes me thinking I trust that.
Yes, it makes a ton of sense. By the way, Dennis Garcia moving over at Royal Ascot, 8-10-13 exacta box with the 13 to win over at Royal Ascot from our Dennis Garcia. Okay, let's move here just very quickly for those of you who are still looking at this game. The A's open up at minus 119 and now minus 122, so a 3-cent move towards them. This total opened up at 8.5, and it's now at 8 at most books, and probably will be at 8 at all the books very soon. We have 78% of the tickets on the A's, but just 55% of the cash. And then we have 47% of the tickets on the under and 83% of the cash on the under, and we've seen it go down to 8. And Viral Video says, did I take mushrooms, or is this low bag show back at it?
This is a dope look. I think I'm going to take a screenshot of this and put it on my Bumble profile, Jimmy the Bag. Hell yeah. This is a fucking dope look. This is a dope. It's dope when I lean back, not when I lean in, because the darkness covers my forehead. But yeah, shout out to whoever made that comment. All right, let's move on.
We move on to Diamondbacks at San Francisco Giants. I was waiting to see if they were going to. So it is not. There was an idea that it was going to be Peacock on the mound for Arizona. He's not going to be pitching. So we know that Zach Little will be pitching. So it means it's a bullpen day for the Giants. And this Giants bullpen has been excellent of late. Now a 3.33 ERA, 1.14 whip, have converted 25 to 39 save opportunities, 66 Fahrenheit clear, 14 miles per hour out to right center. And the Diamondbacks are on this historic losing streak, a couple games away from the MLB record of losses on the road. Wow. Roll Video says Diamondbacks best fade in sports. No overnight here. Anything interest you here, Diamondbacks, Giants?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, I'm not even seeing any lines now, right? There's no lines yet, right?
No lines. No lines, because we don't know who's starting. But we know it is a bullpen day for the Giants. Okay, we move on to a move I did make. I watched this total go from 9 to 8.5, and I pounced on the over 8.5 in Philadelphia Phillies, LA Dodgers, 10 p.m. Eastern. 32-32, 11-20 on the road at the Dodgers, 40-26, 22-11 at home. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, California. Hot weather in LA. 89 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour out to right center. Zach Eflin pitching well. Now he's got to pitch against the Dodgers, who are dealing with injuries. Look, it's not the vaunted lineup that we remember, but they're still hitting 251, 774 OPS versus righties. And this bullpen for the Phillies still susceptible at 4.46 ERA, 1.36 whip. And Urias has not looked that good lately. He's coming off an okay start, a quality start against Pittsburgh at the Pirates. The Phillies hit lefties pretty well, 250, 728 OPS. And I moved on the over 8.5. Is there anything that interests you here in Phillies-Dodgers, Pete?
No, this is a tough one, but I was leaning, it's one of those situations where I was like, leaning to the dog if it gets to a high enough number. That's always very psychologically difficult in sports betting, especially in baseball, because you're like, they kind of suck. I don't want to take them at plus 140, but at 160, okay, fine, I'll take them. That's kind of how I'm feeling about Philly here. I'm definitely leaning Philly. The higher the line creeps, I'm leaning there more. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but leaning Philly.
Leaning Philly here. The Dodgers open up at minus 176. They're now minus 168. So an 8-cent move over towards the Phillies. This total opened up at 9, went down to 8.5. I got it 8.5 at minus 110. Let's see what it is right now here. If I was to bet it right this second, 8.5 at minus 115. So I guess I beat it by 5 cents here. Let's take a look at the baseball data and see how the pitchers have fared against the opposition.
Eflin's gotten crushed against the Dodgers, I believe. Is that correct?
You're absolutely right. But it is Cody Bellinger who's got 2 home runs off him, and he won't be in the lineup tonight. They're 8 for 24, hitting .333 with a 1.152 OPS. Urias has been lights out against these Phillies. 2 for 22 they are, but when I'm watching, he just doesn't look as dominant as he has been of late.
It's just one of those tough situations where obviously the Dodgers should be the clear favorite, but as the line goes up and up and up, it's like forcing my hand. But yeah, if it doesn't get much higher, I'm not going to pull the trigger, I don't think.
81% of the tickets on the Dodgers, just 68% of the cash. 53% of the tickets on the under, but just 44% of the cash on the under. And that is a little tricky when you have a market move. You don't know who was in at 9, who was in at 8.5. The final game on the card is Twinkies Mariners. Minnesota Twins 26-40, 12-19 on the road at the Mariners, 33-35, 18-14 at home. T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. I expect the roof to be closed. It's a cool night in Seattle, but I don't have that verified. 64 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour, out to straight away center. We have J.A. Happ going up against Chris Flexen. Do you see any opportunities to make cash here, Pete?
Well, I didn't. I kind of ran out of a little bit of time, but I'm definitely looking to fade Happier. So I haven't bet this one yet, but I'm going to look into it a little bit more, and looking to fade Hap in this spot. Maybe the Seattle team total over, maybe the first 5 team total over, maybe just taking Seattle. Flex is not great, but can be decent at home. So I haven't made any bets on this one. Didn't run my full numbers on it, but definitely. Caplet's vulnerable and vaguely looking to fade him.
And Nuflash on saying we're having a record heat wave in LA. Smash the over. By the way, Gas Station Sushi's on the Phillies as well, but he's on the under, which scares me very much. Okay, so about this spot, Chris Flexen, and I've watched his starts at home. He can be very good at home.
Yes.
Now, Kyle Lewis, their center fielder, is out, and he could be out for the rest of the season, and he saves runs. He's spectacular in center field, and I've been curious to see if pitchers who do get hit, like Flexen, who need good fielding behind them, would get hurt without Kyle Lewis in the lineup. But Flexen coming off that start against Mize. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 in runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 3 Ks. He's had a pretty good year overall and quite a good year at home. Rich G says Flexen, the KBO superstar. Hap, 5.75 ERA. He's coming off a win at home versus the Yankees, but he only went versus the Yankees, but he went 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. He's certainly susceptible. Twins are hitting 237, 775 OPS versus righties. Mariners just 208, 641 OPS versus lefties. And the Mariners have the big bullpen advantage as well. What were you going to add, Pete?
No, I was gonna make a little joke and say I was very impressed with your that's great. With defense is I think increasingly one of the most overlooked parts of baseball, especially since everyone's looking at everything else so closely, and stuff like that is absolutely at the very least interesting and probably valuable. Excellent.
Yeah. Against Hap, they're 268, 909 OPS, so a ton of power. Kyle Seager has 3 home runs and 19 at-bats against them. Against Flexen, 267, 600 OPS. I wonder if the Mariners are the move here. It wasn't on my radar before. A move towards these Twinkies. We have them opening up at -108. They're now at -127 at Pinnacle. So 19-cent move over to Minnesota. This total opened up at 8.5, juice to the over. It's now juice to the under. And a quick look at where the money is, and then we will move on to NBA. We have.
Oh wow! Oh, sorry. I was just going to say when I was looking at this on the overnight, Seattle was like even money. Now they're up to like 120 or 115 or whatever.
Yeah, and Chris Brady says Mariners at plus money. Mike Macklem says, can we get a throwback second half MLB play for the old days? They're going to come.
I'm looking at second halves right now. Jesus Christ. People are like, well, you're giving us picks, you're giving us jokes, you're dressing up in a suit and the pajamas, and we want second half picks. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. But if I had time for that, of course I would.
Mariners tickets, 52% on them and 67% of the cash. So we have reverse line movement towards the Twinkies. We have 49% of the tickets on the under and 74% of the cash on the under, and the moving towards the under here. Jay Mills says, welcome back, Pete. Great to see you back at it again. Yeah, great guy, Jane Mills. And Tony Cobb says here in Seattle, rain will be 65 degrees, humidity at 60%. Rich G on White Sox team total over 4, Red Sox, Braves over 9, Marlins first 5 money line, Seager over 1.5 total bases. Matty Ice says everyone loves Pete. Jacksonville Zoe says we all learn every day. If you think you know everything, you have a problem.
Yes, because what is life about? Learning. Yeah.
Okay, let's review official picks on Pistol Pete Loshak's debut here on Pub Sports Radio.
Did you write them all down?
I did. I wrote the ones that you went.
I don't remember what that. No, I took a first inning score in the Reds game. The low hanging fruit / no shit Sherlock plays on the KC game. I took KC first 5 team total under 2.5 at 130 minus 135, and then I added on Detroit first 5 plus a half at minus 130. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but what the hell? And then what other official play? Then there was another one. So those are 3, and I also I don't remember what was the other official play, Jim.
It was you were close to making a couple moves. I believe those were the only ones that you made.
Was it?
Official.
Yeah. And then I also have a very strong lean to Tampa Bay White Sox first 5 over 4. But I guess as of right now, I won't make that official. And let me see. I guess that was no. And then Boston Atlanta first 5 over 5 at plus 100 at a shit book. I took that officially. Remember?
Yes, you did. Sorry, I have that right here. Sorry, yeah. I've got.
So those 4 and Tampa Bay White Sox first 5 over 4 is a strong lean, but I guess and then Texas Houston first 5 under 4.5 is also an extremely strong lean, but I guess for now I won't throw them on there.
And for me, I have not added anything, but the Tigers first 5. I want to see the juice associated with that, and then for me at my book, and then. And JR says Red Sox over 5. Didn't you lock that in? Yes, he did, JR. Thank you for reminding me of that. And then that White Sox over 4 I find extremely interesting, and I may jump on that. But I made 4 bets before the show started. Detroit, Kansas City under 9 at minus 6 bets. Excuse me. Detroit, Kansas City under 9 at minus 120. Blue Jays first 5 at minus 130. Reds first 5 at minus 125. Detroit, KC first 5 under 4.5 at minus 110. Philly, Dodgers over 8.5 at minus 110. Miami, St. Louis first 5 over 4 at minus 110. And a couple of those spots. Pete was very nervous about my Miami St. Louis first 5 over 4, and gas station is on the under in Philly LA Dodgers while I'm on the over, so not very confident there. But this year's been good, 149 and 126, hitting at 54.2%, just 6.34 units up. So got to stay focused and not get too confident. ROI plus 2.31%. Average line still high at minus 112. Jamel writes, his energy of this show today was fire.
Hell yeah.
And Nasty Nate says, Pete, you missed my birthday a couple weeks ago. I need a birthday pick. You know it doesn't work like that, Nate.
Well, that's I'm not forced. I'm not compelled by the laws of the universe to give a birthday pick, but it's in my discretion, and maybe I will at some other point. I can't right now.
Okay. That is MLB. We also have the Taint play of the day in.
Yeah.
The Taint play of the day is that first 5 under 4.5 in the Tigers game. And we have as well in that spot, the Dirty K prop is Mike Minor. And that's, you can either get 6.5 or 7.5 on the strikeout prop, the 7.5 to plus money, 6.5 to, heavily juiced minus 154. Okay, Pete, we move on to NBA.
Let's get to this shit, Jimmy the Bag. Can I shout something out right now?
Yes, please do.
Is this not over, right? No? Am I wrong? Thoughts? Over. I got it at 217 on the overnight. I'm seeing now it's like 219 and a half. I know Irving and all them are out, but am I wrong? I'm not as confident on NBA as I am on MLB, but over? No?
Interesting breakdown. Well, let's break. Oh, and by the way, gas station says love the Pirates plus 151. That was another lean that Loshak had. Lotals looking at the over here. Let's talk about it. Pinnacle opened it up at 219, so Pinnacle's actually dropped it a half point to 218 and a half. The market's all over the place. You have Bookmaker at 220. You have Bet365 at 218 and a half for Pinnacle. Let's talk about pace here. And talk about.
That was a hell of a breakdown. My breakdown was no, I'm not that good at NBA. No? What do you think? Anyone? That's my breakdown. That's my analysis. Hire me, Bleacher Report. That'll be my whole article.
Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So the Bucks regular season pace was second in the NBA, 102.85 possessions a game. Come playoffs time, they've slowed it down a little bit, 99.89 possessions a game. For the Nets, they were playing at 100.27 possessions a game during the regular season, and that's a tricky number because they haven't played enough with the same starting lineup, so it's a tricky thing to get into. But they've slowed down in the playoffs to 97.89, but the series pace is 99.50. So Steve Nash said Monday that Kyrie Irving won't play due to a sprained ankle, and Harden will also sit out Game 5. And then about half an hour before showtime, Harden was moved to doubtful from out. Which is very interesting. Series is tied at 2 right now. The home team is unbeaten. The Nets have played this entire series without Harden. Could he make the miraculous comeback tonight? Durant was not passing the ball, was going up and down, shooting the ball, went 9 of 25 from the floor, and nobody was helping out. They went 10 of 33 from 3. They committed 17 turnovers, and Middleton got hot. And you guys know I have the Sixers at plus 550 as my only future bet here in the NBA. So I have quite an interest on the Bucks to continue winning here. They shot 38.9% from 3 during the regular season. We're just 20 of 88 in the first 3 games. And then Sunday they go 16 of 47. They also became the first team to hold the Nets under 100 points in consecutive games. And P.J. Tucker getting very physical with KD. Let's take a look at where the money is at here. And Pete moving on the over right now. We have 13,643 tickets in. From a total standpoint, 59% of the tickets on the under, 58% of the cash. And on the spread, we have 61% of the tickets on the Bucks and 76% of the cash. Tricky spot here. Do you expect?
Look, the Bucks were at home. Great defense. Awesome what they did. But now they're going back to Brooklyn, right? They're going back to Brooklyn. I'm not saying that the Bucks, I'm hesitant. I'm also leaning Nets plus the points or just to eke out a win and the Nets team total over. But, the Nets they're not going to start playing defense all of a sudden. The Bucks might run away with it. But if they do, I think it's going to be a faster paced game. I think they're going to go back to what these two teams kind of like to do. No. Over?
With KD, he wanted championships, so he left OKC. He got the championships, but, people said it was, you bought those championships. You haven't been able to take a team on your own to the glory land. He moves over to Brooklyn. Harden and Kyrie get hurt, and now this is his opportunity to put a team on his back and win a crucial playoff game. And I don't know what we're going to get from him. His player prop was at 34.5 juice to the over. I mean, that is so high. I'm not sure. We got DJ Big Boss Nuts. We got Dutch Boy Fresh, who stars on our big NBA Pub Hub show.
Oh, really? What does he say?
He says KD 35.5 points. He will go for 40 plus. Says he's averaging 30 with Kyrie coming off subpar games and getting smacked around. He will get his, no doubt. That's Dutch Boy Fresh saying KD will go for 40. So if KD goes for 40, does Brooklyn win this game?
Who wins the game is in basketball is based on so many other things. But I think that you do see this a lot in the NBA playoffs where you have radically different paces from game to game, especially when the venue switches. And I think it's an overreaction. Obviously, with Kyrie being out, that's pushing it down a bit as well. And I think there's a lot of things that are causing a little bit of an overreaction here. And I just want to hear other analysis, but I'm on the verge of making this an official play. I'm seeing 219 as well.
Jimmy Stain, Greg Capper, says this game will go over 218. Says game 1 was set at 240.
Right.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah. That's a better analysis than mine. I agree with the basic pick.
Big Boss in the house. DJ Big Boss says Nets are so
Shout out to DJ Big Boss.
Let's take a look at the player prop board right now. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo at 32.5 points. KD is now at 35.5, so it's gone up a point from 34.5 to 35.5. Very interesting because the 34.5 was juiced to the under, and now the 35.5 is on the board. We also have the points, rebounds, and assists, and I was legitimately thinking of trying to get underneath this for KD at 51.5. 51.5. And Johnny K says, where's the cash? As we talked about briefly here, the bets are being put on the Milwaukee Bucks. I can't sit here and really have faith because KD, in the limited time that we've seen KD alone without the 3 stars, he's just jacking up shot after shot after shot. He's not trying to integrate the rest of the team. He's not letting the other players step up, and maybe he's lost faith in them. Maybe he lost faith in them in Game 4. But it's the other guys that have to step up. It's Harris that has to start hitting threes, and I haven't seen enough teamwork from him. I'm certainly hesitant. Now, if this goes up to 5, it'd be very hard not to bet the Nets. I think your over makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it an official pick, but I am going to search for the best line I can get. Shit books absolutely count, and within reason, shit books absolutely count. I am seeing 218.5. Are we allowed to quote books in this show, Jimmy the Bag? I've heard you quote a few books.
You are, my friend.
Okay, well, I'm seeing Pinnacle 218.5 at -112. A bunch of play. Yeah, wow, the number is Pinnacle's. As of right now, I mean, these NBA leans change, but and Bet365, 218.5. I'll make that an official play. I'll take the Bet365 line over 218.5, -110. And I'd also be leaning first quarter and first half overs as well.
There you have it. Lotals Loshak coming out firing. Pierre Suarta says FanDuel's hanging at 219.5. Bet365 is hanging at 218.5 right now. KCOH MMA says -2,000. Harden doesn't play tonight. Ray Charles says Bucks definitely have the advantage if no Harden or Kyrie. Can't back the Nets with just KD. Ron Lott says I think Bucks will key on the others and someone let KD get his.
I just think that the Nets, regardless of all that stuff, you're talking about a lot of hard to suss out unknowns. I just think no matter what, one thing I feel somewhat confident in is that the Nets, regardless, that they're going to step up the pace and that the Bucks will be like, okay, we can beat them this way, no problem.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear that, and I think that's probably a good way of doing it. Don't let the other players get hot. Let KD just jack up shot after shot after shot. I think that's an interesting way of coaching, and it would be worth a shot. That's why when Matty I says Harris over 14.5 points, I just can't trust teamwork in this spot. Rob Free says I think over will hit today. Joe Harris will ball out tonight. So a lot of backing the over, Tease liking the over, a lot of people backing the over, and Lotals making a official pick on the over 218.5.
All right, I'll throw on the first half as well. I'm seeing 108.5. Why don't you do some analysis, Jimmy the Bag, while I shot for the best possible line I can get here.
So Pete now doubling up.
Doubling down, or doubling up. One of those things. Okay,
Sammy says I'm on the first quarter over 2. Over as well. Lots of fouls called early. Refs will make a statement. Bleds W has the Bucks to win by 10, 120 to 110. Fuzz Logic says I don't really bet on sports anymore, but I had to stop by to say hey.
Fuzz
tell
Logic.
you how nice it is to see y'all back together again.
Hey, Jimmy the Bag, am I using a bad line service here, or is Bet365 hanging 107.5 -105 on the first half over?
I had it up here. Let me just see if I can.
Because that looks like an off-market line right now. That looks like I'm using a shit line service, which is not good. Shit books are fine.
Yes, it's 108.5. And you know what? The full game total of Bet365 is 219.5.
Okay.
So let's use that Pinnacle 218.5 -112.
Yeah. But Pinnacle, I might be using a shit line server. Why don't you take over the show, Jimmy the Bag, while I figure out what line I'm going to get here.
Okay, I can just make sure that Pinnacle.
All right, who cares? I'll give myself 108.5 -110 for the first half. And for the full game, I'll give myself 219.5 minus 110. Fine, whatever. Who cares? That's fine.
Yeah, Pinnacle's at 219.5. Yeah.
All right, fine. 108.5, 219.5. Who cares? All right. Okay, good.
Okay.
Sports betting content gold here in 2021.
All right, and Johnny K says Bucks play so bad on the road. There you have it. Lotals doubling up on overs. First half over 109.5, full game over 219.5. Prince of the City.
108.5. 108.5.
Oh, 108.5. Sorry.
Yeah.
108.5. Prince of the City says, "Yay, I miss baseball. You're just in time, Prince of the City." And here we go. We move on to NHL and Lotals Loshak. You get your first guest.
Yeah.
And it is a man that you have hung out with often. You've hung out with in Costa Rica.
This is what's that show? This Is Your Life? What is this? Is this Liza Minnelli? Who's coming on?
Please welcome to the show, Mr. Gokster in the house.
Oh my God, Mr. Gokster, This Is Your Life.
Petey, what's going on, brother? How you doing, my man?
Seriously, great human being. Chill. But fucking Canadians.
Last time we hung was in Costa Rica. That was great.
Have a massive advantage. You have fucking Canadian privilege with your chillness.
Well, the Masters here. I appreciate sharing the screen with you Pete and Jamie. This is great, guys.
Look at these. The Canadians are all offended. Like, don't make anti-Canada jokes on our show.
We
hate, you can say whatever you want, buddy.
We hate our country.
It's a pro-Canada joke.
Yeah, we hate our country now. Things have changed.
No, that is awesome. All right, anyway.
Not Ontario, but maybe the rest of Canada.
Things have changed. Mr. Gokster, you've been excellent in the playoffs so far. Excellent in the playoffs so far. And one thing that's happened is that after huge winning days, you've gotten a little cute, and I know that it's kept you up at night. And I know that happened last night because your capping was bang on, but the bets didn't come to fruition. And Pete, one day last week, Mr. Gokster made 7+ money bets. Woo. All 7 cashed.
No way, really?
Yeah, 7+ money and big plus money, not like plus 105, like big plus money spots, and they all cashed. So Gokster's been running hot in these playoffs, and we have a very interesting spot here in the Stanley Cup semifinals. By the way, shout out to Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast.
Shout out to everybody in here,
And Clint was saying, how do I hedge when he's got the Islanders to win the Cup and the Habs to win the Cup? And I said, well, you can hope that either, the Islanders or the Habs win game 1. So you do have a better opportunity now. The Lightning were plus 150 to win the Cup, and now they're plus 225 to win the Cup. Or you might just want to hang on to it because the Islanders are playing very, very good hockey. Mr. Gokster, I'm going to let you run this up and get us rolling here, but let's just talk about the market that we are dealing with here and where the money is at. We have Tampa Bay opening up at minus 181. They're now at minus 189, so an 8-cent move towards the Tampa Bay Lightning down a game. The total opened up at the under 5 at plus 107, the over 5 at minus 123. It's moved 10 cents to the over. It's now over 5 at minus 133. And when we look at where the cash is in this game, we have 4,489 tickets in. We have 76% of the money line tickets on the Lightning, 85% of the cash. And here's the interesting one. We have 34% of the tickets on the under, 94% of the cash on that under. Mr. Gokster, my friend, Stanley Cup semifinals, game 2, Islanders Lightning, Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida. Take it away.
Well, this is my time to shine. I got a whole list of notes here, guys, so bear with me. It's endless. So I'll do my best here.
10-second analysis just because if I don't do it first, they'll think I'm copying him.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Even though it's super obvious, Tampa Bay's got to be the play here, right? This has happened before. They lose game 1, they come back, they always win game 2. Tampa Bay. And even by some chance, if they lose, the Islanders' game plan is going to be the same. So it's going to be a conservative game again. So Islanders team total under 2.5, even with the big juice.
Yeah, I love it, Pete, but just the line was like minus 185 on that. But that's definitely what I was looking at. It was pretty high with the juice, the New York Islanders team total under. But I do like that, Pete.
I've seen currently at Pinnacle 169.
169?
167.
That's very close to being played right there, Pete. I really like that look. And also leaning on to what you're saying with Tampa Bay, they're 10-0 in the last 2 postseasons coming off a loss. So that tells you enough right there how good Tampa Bay can be.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of in baseball when Clayton Kershaw was like legitimately a superhero. It's like, and he would win like 15 starts in a row, and then his next start would beat minus 300, and he would still be a good bet again, even at minus 300, even to win a 16th game in a row. It's like that, right?
Very similar, yeah. Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, defending champions too. Tampa Bay, just like the Dodgers. Only issue I had with Tampa Bay here, guys, was their defense. I look at a lot of expected goals, Pete. And the expected goals in that last game for the Tampa Bay Lightning defense was a lot higher than what you would expect. So only issue would be you'd have to have there's like you're saying, a much tighter game. It's going to be just like the first game, in my opinion. I'm going to start off with no goal in the first 9 minutes, 30 seconds. That's minus 110. I really like that look. Just both these teams, it's going to be a slow start. New York Islanders, they only score 4 goals in the postseason on the road. That's their lowest clip at any period. And Tampa Bay only allowed 3, and that's their lowest out of any period at home. So overall, you got to like to no goal in the first 9 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm not going to pull the trigger on the first period under just because, I don't know, I'm just a little borderline on it, guys. I got a lot of other picks on this game. But to start it off, I like no goal in the first 9 minutes, 30 seconds. What do you guys think?
How about this? How about Islanders first period no goal at minus 113?
Ooh.
Oh, Pete,
That's
you
a
found
great
it.
one.
There. I think that's got to be an addition.
There you go. Don't let this bullshit fool you. I can say some valuable shit once in a while.
I like that.
He's so good at figuring out what you're saying and then making a pick out of it. That's what this master above the screen, top right, is.
There you go.
Spotted it right on. I love that New York Islanders no goal in the first period. A lot better than the team total 2.5, Pete, minus 113. Take that to the bank. Don't tell anyone that one. But yeah, I like that one, guys. Also, I think it's gonna be a 1-goal game. I think it could go to overtime as well. I'm gonna put a half unit on overtime here at plus 325. I think it's going to be a tight game all the way through. My only issue would be is if the Islanders can't score at all and the Tampa Bay defense starts playing a lot better than what they did game 1. But I got to see it to believe it first. And the way the New York Islanders played, guys, really great defensively. Didn't allow Kucherov, any of their top players, to get going last game, Stamkos. So I got to look under him. Jim, what do you got to say? I want to hear what you got to say, buddy.
Well, the Lightning lost the series opener now for the first time in the postseason. But as Keith's saying, we've seen the story before and the Lightning roll. But the Islanders are just a little more confident than I've ever seen them. And that's because the Islanders were in this very same situation last year and buckled. We know what the Islanders have to do, and that's stay out of the penalty box, and they did that extremely well. And if you don't do that, Trotz will take you off the ice. And he's a intimidating coach who demands accountability. The 100%. Lightning hitting at 42.1% in the playoffs, and the Isles penalty killing at 60.7%. And sure, Point scored for them, and he's been absolutely rolling. If you're looking for any player props, he now has 6 goals in his last 7 games. Wow. He's just playing so well. He's 9 goals in the postseason.
He's a playoff warrior, that guy, eh?
He's just rolling. So the Islanders stayed out of the penalty box, limiting the Lightning to just 2 power play opportunities. Last one coming with 1:38 left, and then they pulled their goalie and 6-on-4 and scored. This Islanders team we're also dealing with a fresh goaltending, and they're the first team since 1980. And only the 3rd team ever to have 2 goalies that have 4-game winning streaks in the same playoffs. In 80, Phil Meyer and Pete Peters. In 72, Eddie Johnson and Gary Cheevers. I think that the Islanders under a half goal at minus 113 might be the perfect way of betting this. I also want that under or the over 5 to be bet. I want it to be bet up. I also think that one thing we can do, because I would like to take that under 5. Another thing we can do is we can turn the team total into a 2 instead of 2.5.
I was looking at that too, Jim. I couldn't find a line on that though, buddy.
I'm going to pull that up right now. So the under 1.5. So I'll pull that up into the calculator right now and pop it out and give it to you. But I think that we've seen this story, and that's that the Lightning come back. And right now, they are a team that basically has an extra $18 million on their team in contracts than every other team in the NHL, which is so unfair and has to be changed in the future.
Yeah.
Even if everybody wants the Islanders to beat the Lightning, I get it. Hockey fans want the Islanders to beat the Lightning, and what the Lightning have done to circumvent the salary cap is unfair. But I don't know how you back them in Game 2.
All right, well, I'll make Islanders team total under first period a half, -113 an official play on my record here.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in the back of Pete there. I totally agree there. And just to lead off what Jimmy's saying, the New York Islanders, guys, they average the least amount of penalties on the road in the playoffs. So they only average 5.4 penalty minutes per game. That's the lowest out of any team. And then you look at this Tampa Bay team, guys, they're the lowest at home at taking penalties. So that just leads to unders right away. Both teams aren't going to take many penalties. It's going to be a stingy game. The power plays for both teams, that's the issue. If there is some power play opportunities, you're looking at 33% on the road for the New York Islanders and 50% at home in the playoffs for Tampa Bay. So that's the only issue. But from the stats, you look at the numbers, these teams don't take penalties. So that's why I like the OT. One look, I'm going to kind of get cute here, guys. I'm going to go second period is going to be the highest period with goals. What do we got here? Highest scoring period, second period, plus 275. If I look at Tampa Bay, guys, in the playoffs, they've scored 14 goals in the second period. That next to 5 in the first and 5 in the third. So 14 goals in the second is no joke. That's pretty big in this playoff. So I expect them to score in the second period for Tampa Bay. And in the second period as well, they've allowed 9 goals. That's their highest goals against in any period. And you look at this New York Islanders team, their highest goal scored is also in the second period, and they allow 5 goals in the second. But anyway, guys, I think this is going to be a sneaky play. I'm going to put a full unit. I like the line, plus 275. I think that was at Bet365. Highest scoring period is going to be the second period. First and third, a lot tighter.
And I don't think it's worth the team total at 2 because it's -112. Bet365 is putting that under team total at 2.5 at -205 and the 1.5 at +150. If you really wanted to make that bet, you'd probably want the risk reward on the under 1.5 at +150. I think the Islanders under a half. Pete Loshak's play there is shrewd. I like what you're doing as well.
Pete, I love it.
And Nate Dogg says, I think Islanders score first in the first period. I think. What do you say, Pete?
He said Nate Dogg doesn't like it?
Nate Dogg's on the Islanders. Yeah, Nate Dogg is on the Islanders, and
but that's why if it loses 113, no big deal. You just double up on the taint play of the day. You're fine.
That's right.
Don't ever double up, ever.
But sorry guys, I was just gonna say I got a couple player props too before we go here. I got to score the first goal. Nice 15-1, 12-1, things like that. I'm going to put a quarter unit, so it's going to come out to 1 unit in total with 4 of them. Bolivier, Bailey, 15-1, 15-1. Sorelli, 16-1. Killorn, 12-1. Jim, all 4 of those guys score a lot at home and on the road, looking deep into their numbers. And you're getting 15-1 on some of these ones. Why not? Put a couple shekels on it, right, Pete?
I'm just checking myself out. I wasn't even sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
It's all good, brother.
I was tuning you out. No, I'm sorry. What was your pick there that you said? What was the pick?
I got goal scorer props: 15-1, 12-1, and 16-1 to score first. Bolivier, Bailey for the New York Islanders, Sorelli, and Killorn for Tampa Bay.
That's a little bit out of my pay grade here. Player props for NHL, but
we're learning, Pete. We're still learning, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bolivia, sure. Yeah, I like that one.
Teams taking a 1-0 lead in the conference finals, or for now the Stanley Cup semifinals, are 127 wins and 55 losses. But
you got to think Tampa Bay is going to come out with the victory here. It's just I want to see it before to see it to believe it. Just like the Montreal, everyone was going buck wild on Winnipeg. I was like, I got to see this before we jump on this Winnipeg team. And Tampa Bay, they've been playing great hockey. They've shown they can win these game 2s. They beat Florida 3-1, and they've also beat Carolina 2-1 in game 2. So they've come out on top, and they've only allowed the team to score, like you see, 1 goal. So Tampa Bay is no joke, and those were both on the road too, guys. Now they're at home. It's going to be a tight game.
The Lightning to win the series right now is at -120. -120. It seems like a pretty nice number.
Yeah, you got to take that.
Lightning, but I've said all along that there's no value fading the Islanders. They're not respected by the
How
market.
much longer are we going to be on air? Because I think I got to go get my I got to plug my computer in.
We're going to put a bow. We're going to put a bow on this bad boy. Do you have 5 more minutes, Pete? You have 5 more minutes?
Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Go on. Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna put a bow on this bad boy. It's been a great show having Lotals Loshak back in business. Okay, I plan on moving on that look that you guys shared. I think that first period Islanders under a half goal is nice. I'm also going to move on the under 5, but I'm going to wait. If this is going to keep going up, I'm going to wait. So I'm going to sit back and wait here. And then I'm curious on this Lightning -120, but I fear the Islanders with how well they're playing. Can we get a review of your action, Mr. Gokster?
I'll be right back. Go ahead. I'll be right back.
Oh, we've muted. You're muted, my man. Let's get you back. Okay. My guest has chose to mute himself.
Hey, are we back there, guys? There you go. A little technical difficulties. We're back, baby. We're back. All righty. No goal, guys. No goal. First 9 minutes, 30 seconds. Get that at -110. Pete just gave the lovely addition that we're all going to back. New York Islanders, no goal in the first period, -113 Pinnacle. I'm also going to take highest scoring period. It's going to be in the second period here, guys. Could even see both of them scoring. I expect that's when Tampa Bay is going to score 15 goals in the second period. That's no joke in this playoffs at home. And I'm also going to ride with the overtime at +350. Going to put a half unit on that. And four player props, first goal scorers. I know a lot of you guys in the chat like these. We're going to go Bolivier 15-1, Bailey 15-1, and for Tampa Bay, Sorelli at 16-1, and Killorn at 12-1. Best of luck, guys. I'll tweet out all my action as usual there at ego47_, and there he is. He's back.
I love it. I love your looks, Pete. Both your guys' work, Pete and Gokster. Gokster, I will retweet your action. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us and continued success, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Get paid in full and keep it up, man.
Appreciate it, guys. You can't hear that phone in the background. Sorry, someone's calling right now. I don't know if.
No worries.
Okay, we're good. All right.
No worries. There it is. There's our NHL breakdown. So, Pete, your first day back in business here, you've made 4 official MLB bets, 2 official NBA bets, and 1 official NHL bets. Good-looking card.
And most importantly, 15 jokes. Good ones, right? No?
You're running hot, Pete.
Yeah?
You're running hot, baby.
Yeah.
You're running hot. So, Pete, your NBA spots are the first half over 108.5 and full game over 219.5. In NHL, I think it's a very sharp look that I will be tailing the Islanders -0.5 goal in the first period.
And one thing that's interesting, you see this in a lot of books, they'll offer the same bet, but in 2 different ways, and they don't have the same odds. Like the Islanders at Pinnacle, the first period team total under a half is -113, but then they have a prop. Islanders don't score in the first period, and it's -130. So you got to be careful with stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Funny
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we see some books that hang -1s. And if you use a -1 calculator, you're going to get a better price than what they are hanging on the -1.
Well, that you always, but
Important. No, very important. Thank you for sharing that with us, Pete. So those are Pete's looks in NHL and NBA. And Pete, for the people joining us late here, do you want to go over your MLB picks one last time?
The Cincinnati game, first inning score, yes. Those are always treacherous bets, but Castillo struggles a bit in the early in games, and I don't trust the other guy. I can't even remember what the hell is his name. Oh, yeah, Anderson. So, at -120 at Pinnacle, first inning score, yes, in that one, kind of like. Then there's the low-hanging fruit / taint play of the day / no shit Sherlock / thank you Captain Obvious game, which is Detroit and KC, and I took KC first 5 team total under 2.5 at minus whatever it was. Whatever we quoted, 135 or something. And then I doubled up with Detroit first 5 plus a half. And then the fourth pick, was Boston, Atlanta, first 5 over 5. Most places have -105 or 110, but I quoted plus 100, and that's what I'm going to credit myself with. It's some shit book on this shit lines shopping app that I have here. It's probably wrong, but that's what I'm crediting with. And then I'm definitely leaning towards first 5 over 4 in Tampa Bay White Sox. I'm scratching my head, honestly, about why this total is headed down. We'll see if there's any news or anything like that. But right now it's 4. First 5, and again, for some reason, maybe the Rays have great analytics on Keuchel, but he always seems to struggle against Tampa Bay, and I don't really trust, McClanahan for Tampa Bay. So first 5 over 4, very, very tempting. Texas, Houston, first 5 under 4.5. Gibson, very, very solid, very, very, reliable. And McCullers coming back from the injury. I think he'll be good for a few starts, probably, maybe only one, but I think he'll be solid in this one. So even though Houston crushes everything, first 5 under 4.5 is a strong lean. The Mets game under, pretty much leaning under in any Mets home game. The defense is impressive, and it almost doesn't matter who the starter is. I'm leaning under, but that's not an official pick. And I guess that's about it, right?
That's about it, and it is so wonderful having you back in business, Mr. Peter Loshak. I am going to tail the Islanders. Look, I've got no move in NBA right now. I do want the Bucks to win because I have the Sixers at plus 550 to win the Eastern Conference. So I'm not sure if I'm going to move there.
So you don't like all this over analysis then? Just give us 10 seconds why. Or if you don't have a reason, that's fine.
No, I do. I fear. I guess it's all about whether you believe in Kevin Durant. And if you believe in Kevin Durant, that he's going to put this team on his shoulders and lead them to glory, then bet the over. And I don't know if I do. And in fact, it reminds me a little bit of when the Lakers went into Phoenix without AD and got destroyed. Now, maybe that is a vividness bias that I am thinking about, because in that game I took LeBron under 46.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and he probably would have hit it if he had played the fourth quarter. But what happens if Brooklyn is taking it, if down 20? You don't want to force, you don't want to push KD in the fourth. And I guess another part of it is that I want the Bucks to win. I don't want the Nets to come out of this game. So I think I've got other things in play, and I do realize that if the other Nets aren't scoring, and we know that Tucker is playing really strong defense on KD, it's going to be difficult for Brooklyn to score. And they've just gone 2 straight games going under 100 points for the first time all season. And so it's not that I'm going to bet against it. It's just that I'm not sold on KD passing. And if it's just him coming up and down in ISO, they're a pretty easy team to defend.
All right, we'll see. Yeah, let's see. I just think that the Nets are gonna switch, gonna go back to what they believe works for them. And even if they don't have, Kyrie and Harden to do it with, they're going to be like, let's just do it with our other guys, do the best we can. It'll be an up-tempo game with fouls called on the Bucks. The Nets are at home, and maybe it'll fail for the Nets, but even if it does, I think we'll see a higher scoring game. It doesn't have to be, it's a high total, but still, that's my take on it. We'll see how it turns out.
We will see how it turns out. And I've got 6 looks in MLB, but that Pete's look on the over 4 in Tampa, Chicago White Sox, I think I'm going to move on. I really do. I think I'm going to move on. Right now, I'm on Detroit, Kansas City under 9, minus 120. Blue Jays first 5 and minus 130. Reds first 5, minus 125. Detroit, KC first 5 under 4.5, minus 110. That's also the taint play of the day. And the Dirty K prop is on that game. The Dirty K prop is minor over strikeouts. Some books are at 6.5, some are at 7.5. Philly.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Go ahead.
Yeah, no doubt. Philly, Dodgers over 8.5. And then Miami, St. Louis first 5 over 4. Pete, what a treat is have you back in action with us. You want to put a bow on this bad boy here?
Not really. No, that's a joke from Twate Latte. He said I once saw a video and they were like, this has been a great video, Twate. Do you have anything you want to just like sum everything up with? And he was like, not really. And I decided I would steal that joke, and he said I could. So yeah. Do I want to put a bow on this show? Anything? Not really. You like that joke?
This joke's great. It's a great joke.
Are you not friends with 12?
Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on.
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.